All right, I'm not going to talk long. Hopefully it'll be about 15 minutes or so and no more than that. This is what's on the folder, just so you know. This is a book I think I mentioned to you the other day that I used when I learned about this stuff. All right, it's called SQL Queries for Mere Mortals. Now notice it's called SQL, so the idea is it's a more generic written book. All right, because SQL encompasses MySQL, SQL Server, Access, a lot of other relational database management systems as well. All right, so I'm not going to go through anything that's in that book, not a bit, but it's there if you're interested in it. The other thing is you got two handouts, and if you look at the first handout, the one that looks like this, it's the one that's printed in landscape. What you'll see if you take a look on there is this. Now, you can see it better there than you can on here. I realize it doesn't resonate all that well on here. But this is the database you're going to be using for your second worksheet. It's more reminiscent of a real-life database. The one that we did, let's face it, it had 12 people in it, which was fine, all right? And it had 6 departments in it, and what was it? We had departments and like 4 or 5 city-state zips. Okay, this one, if you look up on the screen here, it's got 8 tables. There are 27 customers, there are 8 employees, there are 10 vendors, there are 6 categories, there are 40 products, there are 944 orders, there are 3,975 order details, so every order is made up of order details. So for instance, if I got onto Amazon and I ordered 5 books, let's say, then the order would be, there would be one order and the order details would be the 5 books type of an idea. And there are 90 different product vendors. What I did, a lot of you had said to me, well, there's no way. You saw that I wasn't able to take that whole 10,000 line file and copy it in at one time. It just didn't work. So what I did was I broke it down into a bunch of other files. The first one that you should actually bring in is this one that's called sales order structure my.sql. And that's got all of your table schemas in it. All right? And you can try doing this right now if you want to. Just bring up the file, sales order structure my.sql. The whole thing is about 160 lines. So bring that particular file up. Once you've got it up, do an edit, select all. However you do a select all. Doesn't matter. But once you've highlighted all of it, copy it to the clipboard. However you do a copy. All right. Then, if you haven't done so already, start up XAMPP, and you probably want to get to the MySQL command line and do it from there. So with all that highlighted, then just right mouse click and it should drop everything in there. Once you've done that, then you have created the database and you've created all of your tables, the schema that you will need for each table. All right? Then as you go through there, and you don't have to do this right now, but if you notice, I've got these numbered. You see this up here sort of in blue. You should really do them in this order. So first you'll add the 27 customers, then you'll add the 8 employees, then you'll add the 40 or whatever it is vendors, then the 6 categories, then the 90 products, etc. And you should be able to bring those files in one at a time. Now these are pretty big. The ones that are in here, the order details, I put about 1,000 lines in each file. So they're pretty big, but hopefully they're not so big that they choke your system. All right? And they should work without any kind of problems in them.
We should start with
You should start with number 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 7, 2, 7, 3, etc. Then 8. And if you do that, you shouldn't have any problems. All right? All right. So this handout that I gave you right now that you can see in landscape mode has got the database. This is the schema of the database. In other words, there are 8 tables in here. You can see how the 8 tables are joined together. All right, for instance, as an example, if you look on your handout here, if I wanted to join together the customers and the vendors, I'd have to do some work. I can't join them directly, I'd have to join them through other tables. All right, but again, these are the 8 different tables that are in this database. On the rest of this handout, if you care, these are the schemas for each one of the tables. All right, literally I just printed them off from the MySQL command line. That's why they're darker, but with the white text, hopefully you can read those all right. And I put 2 different tables on each one. So you've got 4 pages, and that's got that stuff in it. All right, yes?
Sorry, could you say the sales order data SQL, does that come before warrant or does that come after?
This thing right here, this file is all of these put together.
Oh, gotcha.
Notice how that's 304K, and I thought that might be too big for people, so I broke it down into smaller files. So you don't have to, if you wanted, I don't think any of you, I mean, I tried it on the machine here. This was too big. That's 10,000 lines long, that file. The one that's called sales orders data. But that's everything. So what I did this morning was I came in and I took that file and I broke it down into these files. All right? And again, I think it'd work best if you bring them in order. Okay? All right, that said, then let's look at the worksheet. This is the second worksheet. I'll tell you what, if you don't realize it, and you probably all do, we don't meet Friday this week. All right, it's, I don't know if you call it Good Friday or what you call it. You know, I guess we're supposed to be politically correct and not call it Good Friday, but basically that's what it is. All right, so what I plan on doing is today, after I get done talking, I'm not lecturing anymore. That's it. It's lab the rest of the period. Tuesday, it's lab all period. Then what we're going to do the rest of this week and all of next week is I'm going to lecture for 2 hours a period. We're going to talk about C# and databases and how we merge them together. So I'll try to lecture from 8:05 until 10. And I'll do that Wednesday and Thursday, then all of next week. And hopefully in that amount of time, we'll be able to start creating a project that will have a combination of C# and databases. We'll do some of it as a class. I'll show you what to do, and then I'm going to kind of turn you loose for the rest of it. Hopefully that makes sense. All right? And again, the last week of class, that last Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I don't know if you realize, we've got like 4 weeks left. That's about it. All right? 4 days this week, and then 5 days, 5 days. I don't know if there's one more 5 days, but then 3 days. So, looking at the other handout I gave you that's in portrait mode. This again has got your assignment in it. There are 19 questions. Questions 1 through 12, I ask you to do this, and I tell you exactly what it is you're supposed to do. Each one of those queries that you're supposed to do on numbers 1 to 12 are 3 points each. You do the math, 12 times 3 is 36. The last 7 questions, I ask you to write a bunch of queries. And not only do I ask you to write a bunch of queries, but I ask you to put the 2 hyphens at the beginning and put a comment down as to what you're doing. All right? Those are worth 2 points each. You add that up, it's 50 points. All right? I will tell you that some of the questions that are on here are fairly simple. Some of the questions that are on here are much more complex. But I try to, as much as possible, tell you what it is I was looking for, tell you on 1 to 12 what fields you should be using. You have the schema on that original handout, so you should be able to dig your way through there and figure out what it is you're supposed to be doing. All right? But like I said, I wanted to give you an example that to me was more reminiscent of what you'd actually see. All right? I don't know what I'm going to do Wednesday or Thursday. I have absolutely nothing prepared, but I want to do something. My hope is between now and Wednesday, I'm going to take the database you're working on for that first worksheet, the one with all 9 of your names, and then my name, and Charles' name, and Paul's name, and we're probably going to use that for our first database project. And we'll try to make it fairly simple. All right? And then what I'll do is I'll have you, based on that one, I'll have you do a similar type of project, but with the other database. All right? And again, that's what we have left. So today is the 10th, so we got the 10th, the 17th, the 24th, and the 1st. I guess we do have 4 full weeks, but that's 19 days because we miss a day. And then we've got 3 days the following week, and then that's it. All right, and like I said, that last week, the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th, the plan is for you to finish up anything you have to finish up on here and to tighten up, fix up, professional up your portfolios. Those portfolios will be due when you leave here on the 10th. In fact, everything will be due then. Okay? Because I think I have to have grades in either Wednesday night or Thursday morning. You'll know what your grades are. There should be no surprises. You should be able to right now, if you want to, go out on Inside Rankin and look and see exactly where you are. As far as what's left, you've got the SQL worksheet 1, and that's 50 points. You've got the worksheet number 2 that I just gave you. That's 50 points. And we're going to have a database project part 1 that's going to be worth 50 points, and a database project 2 that's going to be worth 50 points. So right now, there is about 200 points outstanding. I have not yet graded the chapter 13 and 14 homework. I think just about everyone, if not everyone, has turned it in. All right, I'll try to get that graded by no later than the end of the week. Any questions on what you're supposed to be doing or what we'll be doing for the rest of the week? Really the next 2 weeks? All right, that's all that I had then.